Welcome to the Razor's Edge. Today we are chatting with M. von Bewitcher, guitarist and vocalist with Bewitcher. The band have a new album out this week and we delve into the ideas and motivation behind the latest release. Welcome to the Razor's Edge.
Thanks for having me.
It's, first off, to get it out of the way, how has the last year in lockdown been for you?
Oh, probably not any worse than anybody else has had. Still able to kind of live some sort of a life and, just kind of always moving forward towards getting getting things back to normal. So yeah. We're surviving.
Yeah. So on to the reason we're here, Bewitcher and your new album, Cursed Be Thy Kingdom, which is out next week.
Yep.
It's got that classic Bewitcher feel and sound. So how long ago did you start writing this album?
Writing started probably, it was a while back, actually. I think it was the beginning of 2018 where the riffs started kind of coming together. Yeah. And I think I got most of the songs loosely arranged by about September of 2018. So, and then we, from there, kind of started the demo process. So it's kind of a year and a half long process of getting it all together. Yeah.
So, and your last album came out 2019, was it? So were you writing this one before the last one came out? Is that right?
Yeah. Actually, we were recording Witching Cross, and I think it was probably about halfway through writing the songs for this one.
Wow. Okay. so when it comes to recording, what's a day in the studio like for Bewitcher?
Probably not that much different from any other band. I mean, we did did both records, this one and the last one, down in Ventura, California, and it was a nice sunny day. We did it during the summer both times. You go out, you enjoy the sunshine, you come back in, you track some stuff, and you come back out, and it's a pretty normal process.
So did you have any end goal when you started out with this record? Any plan for what you wanted it to be?
Just wanted to make it better than the last two, and we always try to top ourselves as far as the songwriting goes, and as far as the playing with the production a little bit, because the last ones were a little bit more on the grimier side of things, and we wanted to kind of give it a little more of a warm production, a little more rock sound to it. Yeah. So that's kind of the main difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got to be happy with the end result. It's a killer album. I've been calling it Iron Maiden on acid. Would you say that's fair?
I don't know about that, but if that's your interpretation, I'm into it.
There's an obvious theme that runs through the lyrical content in your music, the focusing on the hedonism, the witchcraft, the satanic themes. So what drives your focus in that area?
Well, these days this album is a little more on the diverse side of things. I kind of covered a few different lyrical themes and topics, but I think the idea was just to have something that always has that kind of diabolical thread running through it. Yeah. But the subject matter kind of changes from here to there. You have stuff like Metal Burner that's a little more of a cosmic, almost like a comic book kind of feel to it. You have Electric Phantoms, which is more personal, band on the road kind of thing, and all the things in between. So there's just kind of quite a bit of different things happening on the lyrics.
Yeah. And to touch on the artwork briefly, it's quite an intense album cover. So did you commission that specifically for the record? Yeah,
for sure. Went to Paolo Girardi, and we've been kind of following him for years and wanted to work with him in some capacity. And just finally, this was the right time. So we kind of, I talked to him quite a bit just about themes and about the color schemes and that kind of stuff. And he delivered this masterpiece that just looks so vivid and striking,
Yeah. So you just gave him a brief idea, and then he produced what he produced. That's the.
There was a fair amount of back and forth, just kind of with guidance and just kind of because he wanted to know specifically what we wanted and what we had in mind. So there was some sketches done and just but he really took the ideas that I gave him and just ran wild with it. Yeah. So it's pretty awesome.
It looks amazing. It's a piece of artwork that you'd want on a wall, isn't it? It's a stunning piece. So obviously during a normal album cycle you'll be heading out on tour about now. So When do you think you'll be able to tour this album?
The rumors are probably end of the year, but we're not saying anything quite yet, just because who knows. But yeah, that's the goal. We're trying to get something going for maybe the fall or the winter, and then obviously like expand on that for next year.
Yeah,
maybe get over to Europe and the UK and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I'm assuming the end of this year you're just going to do domestic US tour, and then further afield maybe as restrictions lift.
Right, most likely. Yeah, it just depends on how Europe decides to play this whole thing.
Yeah. So for our listeners who've never seen you live, maybe describe a Bewitcher live show for us.
Satanic chaos in all of its glory. It's we go for a chaotic yet just energetic experience, and we always equate it to sort of like a black metal bands use this term a lot, rituals for their shows, but like for us, it has that same kind of idea, because it's about raising energy with an audience, bringing this sort of just mutual love for heavy metal together as a unit, and the band and the audience have to kind of come together, and then it just explodes into this just chaotic, just critical mass.
Yeah. So, do you have any long-term goals for where you want Bewitcher to be in a few years from now, after this album's out and you've toured it?
I don't really have any expectations. We're just kind of seeing what happens. It's I don't think I expected the band to get this far, so I just where I was just kind of like, wow, this is happening now. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And earlier you said obviously that you'd started writing this album whilst still recording the previous album. So have you started work on the next album already?
There's some songs in the works, but nothing too crazy yet. I'm a little behind schedule on the writing at this point, just because there's been a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah. So outside of the band for a minute, so what music is doing it for you right now? What do you have on regular rotation?
Just kicking it old school, man, with the classics, sticking to like AC/DC, ZZ Top, Judas Priest.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of old blues and stuff, and just trying to mix it up here and there. Not getting into the extreme metal too much these days, but just kind of going old school with it.
Excellent. So is there anyone local to yourselves that our listeners who are mainly UK based should be checking out?
I mean, there's a few bands from Portland that I think have probably made a name for themselves over there already. I mean, you have the Unto Others guys, formerly Idle Hands. You have, Silver Talon and some of these really cool bands that are coming out doing their thing. Yeah, man. I mean, for the more lesser known stuff, I'd say like a band like Soul Grinder or Dark Crucible if you're more into black metal. Yeah. There's a ton of stuff going on in this area.
Excellent. And what's the metal scene in general like in Portland and Oregon?
Well, before all this pandemic nonsense happened, it was really pretty prolific and pretty exciting. There was a lot of shows happening all the time, and just cool bands coming up. It seemed like every week there was like a new band, kind of coming out and just blowing people away. So that's obviously, slowed down quite a bit, but hopefully we'll see it again sometime.
It's been a pleasure talking to you today, and thanks for spending the time to talk to us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website, www.therazorsedge.rocks.